Hey guys, welcome back. We got exercise 3.106 from the Tro book. This is Chem 90, and we are going to talk about how we solve this. Now, this is a very difficult problem for Chem 90. This is huge. Right? This is a big one. You will probably, at the most, ever be a super bonus question on a test. This is never going to be a test question in Chem 90. Chem 1, 2, maybe. Not Chem 1 and 2, sure. Chem 90, not so much. Anyway, we're going to start with, it says, when ice melts, 0.33 kilojoules per gram, that's what it takes. So, we're going to say 0.33 kilojoules of heat per 1 gram of ice. Alright, so now it says, how much ice? Right there is your question. How much ice is required? 13 ounces. Alright, 13 ounces of drink from 75 to 35 if the heat capacity is 4.184 joules per gram degree Celsius. Alright, so one of the first things I'm going to notice is that 13 ounces is a mass. That might not be so clear, because when we talk about 12-ounce cans, well, that's a fluid ounce, that's a volume. This is actually a mass, because it's just ounces. Well, I don't know, we'll put the dot there, but it's just ounces versus fluid ounces. Small difference, but it's a huge difference because it's a different mass. So you can see 16 ounces is 453.6 grams. That's the conversion we need to use. Okay. So now, the other big thing here is delta T. So if I do the subtraction, I could do 75 degrees Fahrenheit minus 35 degrees Fahrenheit, and that's 40 degrees Fahrenheit. If I convert that to degrees Celsius, that's 4.44 degrees Celsius. However, that's 40 degrees Fahrenheit is not 4 degrees Celsius. It's more. It should be along the lines of closer to 20 degrees Celsius, because you're looking at a delta T. So we actually need to change both of these individually, which is why your author makes you do this, I don't know. All right, so we'd actually have to change a couple things. We have to convert the ounces to, it's already a mass of water, ounces to grams. We have to do each temperature to degrees Celsius, and then we can go on from there. So let's do ounces to gram first. I have 13.0 ounces multiplied by 16 ounces is 453.6 grams. So if we do that, 13 divided by 16 times 453.6, I get 368.55 grams of water, or 369 grams of water. Then I take 75 degrees Fahrenheit. Well, it's degrees Fahrenheit minus 32 times 5 divided 9 equals degrees Celsius. So I have to do this for 75 and 35 degrees Fahrenheit. So 75 minus 32 in parentheses, do that first, then times 5, then divided by 9 gives me my degrees Celsius. So 75 minus 32 times 5 divided 9, I get around 23.8, so about 24 degrees Celsius. Then we have 35 degrees Celsius minus 32 degrees, degrees Fahrenheit minus 32 degrees Fahrenheit times 5 divided 9. So that would be, I got 1.67 or 2 degrees Celsius. So I have 24 degrees Celsius and 2. So now the delta T is 22 degrees Celsius if I subtract these two, right? So if I take my 24 degrees C minus 2 degrees C, I actually get 22 degrees Celsius. So that's way bigger than 4.4. All right, so easy to do, but there we go. So now we can use Q equals mc delta T. The mass was 369 grams. The specific heat is 4.18 joules per gram degrees Celsius. That's from the problem up here, right? Highlighted in blue. And then we have 22 degrees Celsius. So Q would be 369 times 4.18 times 22, and I get 33933.24 joules, or basically 34000 joules, 34,000 joules. So that's my heat. So now we have to figure out how much ice. All right, so that's how much heat is lost by the water. How much ice does the ice absorb? Well, I take the heat, 34,000 joules of heat, and we know that 1,000 joules of heat is 1 kilojoule of heat. All right, because 1,000 joules is a kilojoule, right? Kilo is 1,000. And then we know from our problem here, this little ratio right here, 0.33 kilojoules of heat per 1 gram of ice. So if I do this, I get 103 grams of ice. Well, to 2 sig figs, it's 1.0 times 10 to the second grams of ice. So 100 grams of ice. So let's recap this really quick, what we did here. I have, question is how much ice? That's the mass, not the volume. That's a big key. We have delta T here. In Fahrenheit, we'll have to make out all Celsius, and that's the specific heat. And so if we do this, right, there's my conversion, ounces to grams. So I take my 13 ounces, 16 ounces is 453.6 grams. Got my mass of my water. Converted both my temperatures in 2 degrees Celsius, 24 and 2. And the difference between 24 and 2 is 22 degrees Celsius. So then Q equals mc delta T. Did that math, I get 34,000 joules, or this, by the way, is 34 kilojoules, right? You could have done that too and just done the red here, 34 kilojoules, and then the blue, and you still get 103 grams of ice. So that's how you do this problem, chapter 3, 106. Hope it makes sense, and we'll see you next time. Take care.